Hey everyone, Luke here. Now, I know I said I wouldn't do another review for a while, but I'm sorry. The chapter that just dropped today, like literally, I've just read the chapter in like the last 10 minutes, like or the last half an hour. Like I've literally read the chapter. I've gone through it like twice at this point, and I was like, I'm sorry, we need to talk about this chapter because all that talk about me saying who we thought we could trust in the last chapter, or the greyness of this world, like not all the demons bad and not all the humans are necessarily good, and yeah, and vice versa, and all of that. Like this chapter brings that into the forefront. So I don't even know why I'm waiting for this. So let's just get right into it. Alright, so this will be chapter 139, titled The Search for Demons number 2, or Demon Search number 2. Obviously continuing on from the end of the last chapter where Aishi said to Don and Gilda, oh, so you're planning to let them escape. Now, initially I thought what Aishi was going to do is like, okay, you're planning them to escape, so I've been instructed by Norman to keep tabs on you to make sure that you guys don't do anything out of line that what Norman wouldn't want you to do. But as we'll see in this chapter, that is completely false, and it is quite tragic, it is quite depressing, which again fits the motif of this series, but also depressing in ways that you wouldn't expect. Okay, so the chapter starts off with Aishi staring down Dawn and Gilda intensely as the caption goes, what has that eye seen? And Dawn and Gilda are acting like really suspicious of her, like almost terrified of like, oh my god, is something bad going to happen to us at this point? As they go, she found us out. Did she hear all of that? And Gilda goes, no, that's not it. Why? Why can you understand our language, Aishi? Now, you assume when Aishi's first introduced that she's just like this child who cannot speak, cannot understand human language, and was raised by a demon. However, and this is true, she was raised by a demon, but not in the way that I initially thought, in the sense that the demon was actually abusive to her, and she hated the demons because of that, which is why she joined Norman's side. No, it's a little bit more complicated with that, as we'll soon get into it, and this is why I wanted to just talk about this chapter really well, because again, like I said, the greyness, I've always said this about the world of the Pro 7, and how you have this moral grey area about who is right, who is wrong, and there's like no clear cut answer to that. People are in the wrong, everyone, demons and humans alike, and this chapter, oh my god, Norman's gonna have some explaining to do. So anyway, the cover page shows Aishi with her dogs, just surrounded by her dogs, with a single dog ball and sort of like a wooden raft. And this is a reference to something that happens later on as we go into her flashback. Yeah, this is Aishi's flashback chapter, finding out exactly who she was, where she came from, and how she came into Norman's care. I put care in quotations because what Norman has done is kind of something he really should have thought this through. So we go into a flashback with a demon at one of the plantations. We don't exactly know which plantation this actually is, but my suspect it's gonna be either Grand Valley or Glory Bell, but I don't think it is Gracefield, because it's the plantation is sort of like this factory. Like he's working in a factory and he's got like this conveyor belt in front of him, and he's like one of those workers who's just like good, throw that away, good, sort of like that. He's sort of like one of those factory workers as well. And the demon's design is actually pretty cool, with the way how his head is sort of like this mushroom like squid like thing over his head, and like the mask is sort of like connected around via this pipe. So it's kind of an interesting design of this demon, and the caption and the speech bubble or speech square reads, that demon was a staff at the plantation. He was a man of few words, always looking downward and anything but skillful. And again, this is similar to Aishi, but like in the complete opposite. Whereas Aishi is very skillful with what she does. This demon is actually quite a tragic figure in the sense that he's not skillful, but but at the same time, he feels like he can be useful because of what we're about to see with him. But again, the thing that connects him to Aishi is that he's a demon of. He was a man of few words. I shouldn't really call him a demon because they're not really demons in the traditional sense, in like the traditional sense that we build demons up to be. They're sort of like they're their own species. They're their own established species at this point that really should be left to their own devices because they can think for themselves. They're not all demons are out to actually kill humans. They just want to eat humans. They're not actually hunting humans as they would have been 1,000 years ago. And they've kind of like settled down and they've kind of mellowed out in that sense. I mean, yeah, there are going to be demons that want to do the traditional ways, but there are going to be other demons who just want to live their lives. Like this guy, he just wants to live his life, not saying a few words, just wants to get down, be hardworking, do his job, that sort of thing. But anyway, it goes on to say, ever since he was a child, he despised his own face, and we get a good look of his face as we move his mask, and it has like this disfigured style, like it is basically a giant wart on his face, like almost like a Siamese like face is growing out of him. So it's sort of like you've got his regular face before the eyes, and then you got it like the left side of his face, so it's kind of like here, just like extending out. So it's sort of like that, like he's got his like face extended out like that, so like his face is like here normal, whereas like his left side is sort of like that. That's the thing that's driving, and we don't know where this actually came from. It's probably a very rare condition that the demons have, and it's no similar to some conditions that we have in our world, where people just have parts of their bodies that are just like extended to excited degrees that make people go like oh like that. I mean, I'm not one to say that because I understand what it's like to live with a disability. I have disabilities myself. I've got autism, ADHD, dyspraxia, dyslexia, all of that. So I can sympathise with this guy in the sense that I was bullied and he was bullied as a child. And continuing on, they go on the right, no, is it? No, sorry, I forgot, sorry. Sometimes I can't tell my left from my right, but some people have that problem sometimes. Again, my dyslexia, that's my disability coming again. But no, it's actually on the right side of his face. On the right side of his face, it suddenly lost its shapes, and since then, no matter what he ate, his face wouldn't change back. So again, even if he tried to eat human flesh, like he was perceived to, like his own biology was perceived to be, it wouldn't change back. It's like that's the thing he would have to live with all his life, and you get this really depressing flashback with this guy where you have other like demon children bullying him and saying, it's like a stray. He's gonna fall to the wild. So basically, treating him like just a wild animal. Like, oh, you've got like this wart figured thing on your face. You're gonna turn into a wild. Animal. And we just need to get rid of you. And you see the kids actually just snapping him up, beating him up, bullying him physically and possibly mentally as well. By going, you're different. What have you been eating? And it's like, even though I've been eating properly, why am I different? Why did I? Well, he probably thought to the demon. He's probably said to the Demon King all the time. It's like, why did you make me like this? Why did you give me like this disfigurement on my face when I'd done nothing wrong? I'd treat my body really well, and I've done all of this. And again, like I said, this really goes well to establishing the greyness of this world, because again, the demons are no different from the humans at this point. So you have they basically live their lives and just try to build up families and just try to make a living. It just so happens that humans are their diet and they have to feed off of them, and of course that's going to lead to conflict and war. But again, like Emma said, some demons are just trying to live their lives. They have families, and what is it their right to take away from these families? And again, it's no different than when you have people bullying you both physically and mentally. In the human world, you have the same in the demon world as well. And this is what makes me sympathise with this guy a lot, is that he's done nothing wrong with his life, and all because he's different, he gets bullied for it. And that's not fair, and he really should just be allowed to live his own life. But again, because of the way he has been born, or the way he's just developed, it's sort of like him thinking like, did I deserve this? And that's what makes this chapter just like really compelling, and made me really want to talk about it right now. Just get all my thoughts out in the open rather than waiting until I finish my play and all of that. So anyway, continuing on, he says his face was a curse to him as he puts his mask back on, and we see the dogs that were with. Who have been with Aishi, or the wolf type creatures that are with Aishi. So you could probably guess where this is actually gonna go. It's no surprising that he's gonna find Aishi and bring her back into his establishment. And yeah, you can see why I wanted to talk about this chapter so much right now. So anyway, we cut back to him in the factory that he works in, and him just carrying a box as it goes, but just maybe that day being carried on the line for disposal. So, and we see like these babies just being carried on the side, like they're rejects that we don't know what's going to happen to them, although they're probably just going to be chucked into a furnace. Knowing how the demons work, they're probably going to like, okay, good. This is bad. We've got to chuck this. This thing into the fire. It's not worth our effort. Anyway, he goes on and he notices Aishi as a baby who like him has a deformity on the right side of her face, and it says he thought he saw himself in one of the human babies. So again, it's like okay, he's seen this creature. To him, this thing is a creature. It's not an actual human at this point to him. It's just a creature. But again, he feels compassion. Like again, they have feelings as well, these demons. And for this demon to see this creature who has a deformity on its right face, like him, it's like why chuck this out just because it's different, just because it has a figment on its face, just because it's not premier goods for you guys? Why should we chuck it out? No, this is wrong. We shouldn't chuck it out. We shouldn't waste these resources that we have just because they have this figment. And again, that's pretty much how people perceive food in the real world. It's like, oh, food is this way. Oh, I'm not going to eat it just because it's a little wonky. Like, I'm not even kidding. Some people won't eat some foods because it's wonky, and this is probably what this demon is thinking here, as he goes on to say, how wasteful, throwing it all out. If only we could eat them when they get this irregular. He's saying like, yeah, just because it's a little bit wonky or a little bit deformed doesn't mean it's not valuable goods, and we shouldn't be throwing away our resources that we have. But anyway, I actually looks up to him, and in a split second he's like, okay, so am I gonna actually take it? And he literally, as the caption goes, he committed an evil deed. Although evil is put in quotations here, because it's not really evil in the sense that we would perceive it as evil. Yes, he's taking this baby back on the pretense of actually eating it, but as we'll see later on, or as we'll see in a bit, this gets a little bit complicated for him. As not only as a person, but also as his nature as a demon, and their desire to actually eat humans. So after he's done the deed, after he picks up Aishi and takes her back to his home, he's like, oh my god, I actually did it. I actually restored it. It was going to be thrown away, but it was still the plant's property. So again, he's like morally dilemma. It's like, yes, I know this was going to be thrown away, even though in my mind it's not right to throw this away. But again, it was my work's property, and I shouldn't have done this. And then he's like really conflicted about this, and he's like first off, how do you even pick up a human? Because I don't think he's ever actually picked up a. No, he's actually no. This is establishing that he's never picked up a human in his life as well. So it's like this is all new territory for him, and he's like, should I eat? Like he's contemplating, should I eat? Should I get rid of the evidence? Because if I get rid of because he's probably thinking if I get rid of the evidence, then I'm probably gonna just be safe to say like, oh no, I didn't take anything. There's nothing here. You can look around. Nothing's here, and get himself scot-free. But again, he's like, you can see. Actually, is it? Yeah. I had to bring it closer, guys, to actually see it. But yeah, he's like actually swaying. He's like, should I do this? Should I eat? But I want to eat. But this creature, it has a predicament like me. It's like he's got lots of thoughts going in his mind, and it's a shame we don't actually find out his name, because. He's very much in that area of like Songju and Musica, those demons who are not out to actually to necessarily hunt humans, but just to like survive, and it just so happens that humans have to be there. Well, with Songju and Musica it's different, and with this guy it's completely different at this point, because again, like you said, he's never really been in this situation before, and he's kind of like really conflicted on his emotions about what he should do in this situation. As he contemplates about what actually should be done, and as I actually sleeps, he's like, well, I want to eat this baby here, but at the same time I don't want to eat it. So if I treat it like a dog, because he treats his dogs like pets, so he doesn't eat them, so he treats them like they're his pets, like his companions and everything. So he's like, well, if I think of it like a dog, then maybe my moral conscience will prevent me from actually eating it, and then I can actually raise it as a pet rather than actual food, and maybe something good can come of it. Because again, not like I said, not all demons are necessarily bad. I mean, you don't see many. You only see like the higher ups in the monarchy actually going after the humans. But at the same time, you've got these demon villages and families who are just like left to their own devices and just want to get on with their own lives. Like you saw that brother and sister at the beginning of the arc who were just like basically walking around the town and just seeing humans as the way we see meat, like we see pigs, cows, chickens and all of that, where they were basically just acting like regular people, but just the fact that humans have to be their delicacy. And again, like I said, this is why the greyness of this world, or the grey areas of this world, is so drawn and so massive that you start to really wonder who the heroes are and who the villains are. And again, this is going to come into play very much in the at the end of this flashback from Ayashi's perspective about how she grew up and lived with this demon who she eventually came to see as her father, as it will actually say right as we get into the next few pages of this chapter. It goes on to say that he originally lived alone on the outskirts of the village, but he secluded himself even further into the depths of the forest and hid. And he quit from the plantation, obviously probably to save his own skin, for the fact that people were probably looking for this. People were probably looking for signs of like some some tampering, that was the word I was looking for, some tampering with the system, and how like a good who was originally supposed to be burned has actually been taken from them, and they're trying to figure out who actually take it. So it's probably a case of like, okay, I'm going to quit and I'm going to hide deep in the forest to like save my own skin, and if anybody comes by asking, you can honestly just lie about it and say, I never worked here, don't come asking me, because I never worked in this actual plantation. I've just been keeping myself to myself, living here with my pets, and if they ask any questions about Aisha, they'll probably be like, oh no, she's my pet. I'm raising her as a dog. She's not a human. Probably can worm his way out of situation if anybody comes by looking. But as we'll soon see, that's probably not going to be the case. Okay, continuing on. Ayashi is crying, and the demon's just like trying to figure out how to actually get her to stop crying. And again, he's actually doing a pretty effective job here, because he's worked out how to pick her up at this point and be like there, as if you're like trying to calm a baby down, and then he's like, and then he goes like how you were trying to make a baby laugh. You would be like with the really funny noises, and you actually see her smiling. And I feel like this is where he actually started to turn have changed of leaf and see humans in a different light of like, no, they're not just meat. I can actually raise this human as a human. It just so happens I'm a demon and I'm a father, but that wouldn't really matter. I don't care at this point. As long as I can get this creature, as long as I can get this human to actually love me, maybe there is a chance that humans and demons can actually live together. And this is actually proof that Emma's theory is actually correct, because Emma always wanted that idea of humans and demons working together, working and living together, and everyone was just scoffing at that idea, saying it's impossible. It's a myth. It's not going to happen. We're natural enemies. We have to hunt each other. We have to kill and eat each other, as demonstrated by the demons eating the humans and Barbara eating that demon meat. Oh my god! What if that demon meat that? Oh my god! I'll get into that when we get into what actually happens. But again, like I said, this actually is living proof that this can actually work. Like, demons can actually raise humans as if they're actual people, and actually care for them, and actually grow them into a family, as is here now, as the demon's like, what do humans eat, and what do humans are? As you see Aisha just crawling around in nothing but a sort of like makeshift diaper or nappy, because I don't know how they would actually do that in this world. He probably just had a bunch of cloth lying around, and he used that as sort of like a makeshift nappy or diaper or whatever. And he's like, what do humans wear? And he's like really debating about it. It's like, I want to look after this creature now, but I need to find out, okay, what it wears, what do humans wear, what do humans eat? I need to find out about their capacity. So it's no different from when you actually become a new parent. Like, okay, what do babies eat? Okay, what would be safe for a baby to wear, or even like when you first own your pet. It's like, okay, what do cats eat? Okay, where do cats sleep? Okay, where do dogs eat? So it's sort of like trying to get into that responsibility, and again it's new to him. He's never actually had to do this before, where he's actually had to take care of something on this scale. I mean, yeah, he has his dogs as well, but this is like a completely different scale for him. This is a creature that can actually that can possibly talk back to him and grow and care for him in the same way that he can grow and care for her, as it will soon see. And it shows a panel of their hands actually touching, like almost like a father, like how a baby touches his parent's hand, and he's like, and it's come to a case of where Aisha's actually imprinted on this demon, and it views him as her father. Like, she views him as her father, and that's really beautiful, because again, like I said, this proves that Emma's theory of can demons and humans live together is correct. This actually proves it, and this will actually I guarantee this will actually play a major part coming up in the arc, where you have all the sides, like all the different sides, and I feel like she's going to be like the area in the middle. It's like, no, I was raised by a demon. Like, a demon was my father. And I feel like that's just going to open up a huge can of worms that we don't know how this is actually going to end. Anyway, it goes on to say that he was no longer cursed, both of them, as we see Ayashi growing up with this creature, how he's teaching how to survive. Like, you see Ayashi in a tree, and he's like, "Come down to me, Ayashi, come down to me." You see how he's teaching her how to fish, how to hunt, how to be a hunter, teaching her how to read as well, and it's actually quite nice here how you have again. Oh my god. She actually has little blocks. Like, I've had to bring it closer to me again just to see this, but she actually has little blocks as well that she was actually playing with. So she had toys to play with. She had friends that would keep her company, and again, he's actually teaching her how to fight as well, how to fight, how to hunt, teaching her how to read and everything, and letting her ride on his shoulder and bringing in food for her. And again, I feel like the only reason why he actually took Pia on her again was because he saw something in her, and he was like. And I feel like in the back of his mind, he probably didn't think of it at the forefront to start off with, but in the back of his mind, he thought like, no, this is wrong. I'm gonna take this baby and I'm gonna raise and I might eat it, but at the same time, I'm thinking about raising it as if it was my own child. And that's very sweet, but also very sad because of what's about to occur. And of course, it just like drives in like just this dagger in your heart of like you want, even though it's not gonna end well because of where Aishi's at this moment where she actually is. You know it's not gonna end well. You just like get this sense of like just like they're a family. They're basically a family. Like Aishi even says this later on. Like they are a family. They've he's raised her as his daughter, and you see it right here where Aishi after falling asleep after reading, the demon actually just covers her with blankets, to like keep her warm so that she doesn't freeze to death when she sleeps. And it's like, oh my, and again they say we're happy. I'm sorry, guys. Like this chapter, oh my god, just making me cry because this is one chapter that I've always wanted to see, but at the same time, it's just really tragic and really depressing from what happens next. Sorry, guys. Just go and read. I'm recommending this chapter, 100%. This is probably in my top 10, like top 5 chapters of the entire series, just for the way it's emotionally, it's the emotions that have that have been brought out in me, and the sense that it gives us an idea of like how Emma's theory can actually work out in the end. But then of course comes the tragedy of the situation as we see the capture going, but on that day, and then we see the demon just get slashed across the face by Sassy. And when I first saw it, I was like, oh my god, this is opening up the biggest can of worms I have ever seen. As we see more of the flashback of when Barbara, Cecilo, Sassy, Vincent, and Norman actually went to raid this plantation or this area around the plantation, and it sees the demon going, something's wrong, hide yourself, Aishi. And Aishi's like, Dad, probably like a case of like, Dad, what's going on out there? Are you going to be all right? And he's like, I'll be careful. Like, I've got to worry about you. You're my main priority here. Because again, like she said, they see each other as father and daughter at this point. And it goes on to say, no, I can't die yet. I don't want to die yet. You see the creature. You see the demon just like crawling. It's like, no, I don't want to die yet. After Sassy's just slashed his face up without any care or any idea of what's actually going on here. And his first last words are Aishi, as he dies right in front of her. And Aishi, I thought she would actually be a little bit taller at this point, but no, it looks like she's around the same age as Emma was when Emma was like 5 years old at the beginning of where they first went to the gate, her, Emma and Norman, before they found out anything. She's probably around the same age here of being 5 years old. So this probably takes place quite a while ago. I would it can't take place a while. No, so wait. Oh no. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Maybe she is a lot older than she actually looks. Because people have that, but again, it's kind of confusing here because it looks like Aishi's 5 years old, although she might actually be 9 or 10, depending on the situation. I don't believe there's ever been an official age for her at this point, but anyway, that's besides the point. The point is that the last words of the demon before it dies is Aishi. Like the final words are his daughter's name, and they hold hands as he actually dies. And now we get a whole new perspective on Aishi. Like she's she's there. She's only with Norman because he stole her family from her. Like, Norman stole her family from her. So you think so if Norman ever, and I think Norman is gonna find out about this, he's probably gonna be like, oh, he's probably gonna be like that, like that, because again, like I said, the moral grey area here is like, okay, the demons took away Barbara's sister was taken away by demons, but at the same time, they took away Aisha's father. Like, so how are they different from the demons? And that's what gets you thinking right now. It's like, who do you actually trust in this world, if you can trust anyone, based on just based on the fact, like, oh, you're our enemy and you're our enemy, but at the same time, it's like we've made families out of who's supposed to be our enemy, and you're taking them away from them. It's like it just gets you thinking, and I want to see a case of what would happen if a human was raising a demon to be its son, and what would happen then. Like, that's something we need to look at as well. It's like, what would happen if a demon who was raised as the son of a human actually got killed? What would happen then? But yeah, it just gets you thinking right now of the fact, like, okay, yes, morally this demon is the enemy of the humans, but at the same time, he didn't do anything wrong. He was born differently. He was bullied by the demons. Like, he never had a place in the world, and Aisha was the place that he actually found where he could actually be happy and have someone like who didn't look at him differently just because he had a warped face. At the same time, Aisha could see this creature as not as a demon, but as her father, as the person who actually raised her. There, and that's again the moral grey area that you have to draw the line with in this series. Cecil goes on to say, it's all right, everything's going to be okay now, but we see now Aisha, what her words actually mean when she's actually speaking our language. It's like, I won't forgive you, how dare you. So she's not being scared. She's not doing that out of fear of like, oh, are they going to kill me? No, she's actually doing that out of anger because of what they've done to her own father. And she goes on to say, I'll kill you, I'll kill all of you. And yeah, after you've seen it here, it's understandable of what her motivation is, and it's clear now why she would want that. So she didn't actually hate the demon that actually raised her. It was actually the other way around. She actually loved the demon as her own father. In fact, it was her father. Like, yes, he didn't give birth to her, but at the same time, just because you give birth to something doesn't mean you have the right to call them. In fact, yes, they're your birth offspring, but at the same time, did you raise them? Did you even give a crap about what they were? No, but this person came in and actually brought you up, brought you into this world, brought you up in this world, raised you, taught you everything you knew, taught you right from wrong and everything. So it's about a case of like, do you follow your actual biological nature of the sense, like, this guy, he gave birth to me, so he's my father, or do you follow the person who actually raised you? And in my eyes, it's the person that actually raised you, unless under very very rare circumstances that was a case of sort of like couldn't afford to look after them, so he gave them up, or something like that. But in this case, no. Aisha clearly has the right to hate them, and it's clear understanding of why she hates them and what would want them dead. And again, like I said, it just adds to the moral grey area of the situation, because they obviously don't know what she's going through, or how it all turned out. And I feel like if they actually did get to that point, it's gonna again open another can of worms and be like, oh my god, what did we do? Are we really as bad as the demons, or are we really different from the demons? And that's the thing that you've got to take away from this. Who is actually the good guy and the bad guy? Because there is none. There really isn't none. I mean, even Emma herself has those points where she could be crossing the line of being a villain, and Norman has certainly crossed that line now. Like, Norman is not a hero in the traditional sense, like he was at the beginning, because otherwise he wouldn't have just jumped in to actually just kill this demon without actually thinking like, okay, maybe there's something going on here. And again, this goes back to what Vincent actually said about Norman in the last chapter, how he perceived Norman to be something perfect and something more than an absolute genius. Again, this shows that Norman has weaknesses at this point, in the sense that he can't see it from other perspectives. So again, he couldn't fabricate that the fact that this demon could actually raise this child as if it was his daughter, without the actual, in the back of his mind, thinking like, oh, this demon's just going to eat it when it becomes of age. No, he could actually see that. And again, like I said, this is something that I feel like Emma needs to actually just hammer into Norman. But I feel like Aisha's going to do that more, or she's going to probably keep it to herself, or something like that. We don't know at this point, but at the same time, we know what her motivations are, and where her loyalties lie. Like, her loyalties lie with her father and getting revenge for her father, but of course she's been keeping quiet about it and finding the perfect opportunity to actually kill them when she has the chance. Anyway, she goes on to say, why? Are you asking why I understand your language, or could it be why I've kept so quiet about it? Because again, she never actually said that she actually couldn't speak human. They just assumed that because of how quiet she actually was. And then as Dawn and Gilda look at her intensely, she goes on to say, because I hate them. And again, it's not the fact that it's hard for us to see why, because they just killed her father in cold blood without actually understanding the situation that was going on about it. And she goes on to say, he in fact did eat human meat, but to me he was my father. Again, showing the fact that she didn't care what he ate. Yes, he ate the kind that she was born into, but at the same time, it's like, he was my father. He was my father. He brought me up. Yes, he may have eaten human meat, but that shouldn't matter to who your father actually is. Yes, it's just what he ate and what he had to do to survive, to keep his human form, to actually keep loving me, to teach me, to raise me, and to tell me about the world. He raised me as family, not as food. He was my one and only father, and then these people just come in and take that away from me. So to me, even though they're humans and I'm a human, they're my enemies, and I hate them for it. And like I said, again, just morally, it's just the moral grey area, and especially Norman's greyness, and I feel like that's going to get in the way of him being rational to talk to throughout the rest of the series. And she goes on to say, that's why I hate them so much and why I don't want to speak. And can you really blame her? Like, you can't blame her for feeling the way she has been feeling, and the situation that she's actually been put in. So that's why she's acting ignorant and following their orders before she flashes back to saying, "I'll kill you." And it's all that she can survive the situation she's been put in, because if she brings up the fact that I feel like in her mind, if she brings up the fact that she was raised by this demon, then they're probably gonna like turn on her. So she's like, okay, I'm gonna keep quiet about it until I find the opportunity where I can actually get out of the situation and actually kill them. And then this actually gets Dawn and Gilda looking completely surprised, because again, they probably didn't think as well that Emma's theory could actually come true, of the fact that can demons and humans live together, and it's just like completely shocking to them, like, oh my god, it can actually happen. This can actually happen. And this leads Aishi to question them and go, and you guys, before they're like, why won't you kill them? You want to let the evil blood escape. If it were the other humans, they would kill them without hesitation, but you're different from them. So what is it? And then this gets Aishi staring them down before Dawn and Gilda decide it's best now that we actually tell her, since she's in a similar position to us. Not exactly the same, but a similar position in the sense that she had her father taken away from them, from her, and now they probably feel like their friends are going to be taken away from them, even though they are demons. As they go on to say, we're not so different, you know. We also hated demons. There weren't anything more frightening. There wasn't anything more frightening to us. But then Sonju and Musica saved us. Those two are lifesavers and precious friends to us. We have this one friend in our group, obviously referring back to Emma, as we see a flashback of Emma, and they go on to say, she said not all the demons out there are bad, and that's actually been proven to be the case time and time again. It's not all black and white, like demons bad, humans good. No, there are different areas, different complexities to this world, and that's what I love about this world, how it's just such a complex, vast world that has actually been built up, even though there's not been a lot of like variety in the locations. It's still just the complexity that's been built up in this series and made us question, like, who are we actually going to trust here? Who's actually going to turn out good? Who's actually going to turn out bad? And it's just so fascinating to actually be watching, to actually be reading this series. And I cannot wait for other people to experience season 2 of The Promised Neverland, even though I wasn't a big fan of the anime. I'm just glad that people are actually getting exposed to it and actually loving it the same way I love it. Even though Dr. Stone has replaced it as my favourite anime, as my favourite manga and my favourite series, it always still holds a special place in my heart just because of the vast complexity of the characters and the world itself, and how there's just this like overarching grey area of the world. And they continue on to say that Emma didn't want to fight, and it's not like they were blindly following what she said. They also don't want to wipe out the demons if possible, and that's why they're searching for Sonju and Musica. So, and again, it's understandable because they were actually saved by Sonju and Musica, so they feel like they owe a life debt to them. Because if they didn't show up when they did, everyone would have been dead. Like, everyone would have actually been dead by those demons that were actually chasing them that when they first escaped Gracefield House. So again, it's not like they are following Emma, they just see it in the way that she sees it as well. Gilda goes on to say that because of what they owe to Sonju and Musica, that's why if Aishi was their escort acting as an assassin, they would tell themselves that they have to protect Sonju and Musica before Norman questions her and says, Did Norman or did the boss order Musica and Sonju to be killed? And she's like, I don't know, I haven't received an order like that. Yeah, you haven't received an order like that, but other people in your group have, so you have to be extremely careful with that. But anyway, they go on to say, she goes on to say, rather, I was ordered to before she's actually cut off by Dawn and Gilda going, we're so glad Norman, he really was thinking about protecting us. He reconsidered, and this just gets like, actually like, what? Oh, okay. Okay, and before she can actually do anything, they're just there, like just shaking her head, like, we're so glad you weren't an assassin. She's sorry for doubting you, and she's like, they're crying because I'm not. Because again, she's had very little human interaction, and she only perceives some. Actually, I feel like this is actually a reverse of the situation in the sense that. She sees humans as just like these evil monsters who are just out to kill families just to get what they want. But yeah, that's probably what is being implied here. Like because of what happened with Norman and his group and his like big followers like Barbara, Cecil, Vincent and Sassy, she just saw them as like, oh, these demons, they've taken away these humans, they've taken away my family, they're the true evil of this world, they're the true demons of this world. But now she sees these humans that are having other emotions, like she has, like sort of crying and being thankful, that it's again going to be like a moral dilemma for her as well. Probably, I feel like that's what is going on here. As she says, Dawn and Gilda, and she just thinks that world. So maybe she's actually gonna sit down with them and actually try to understand humans in the same way like this in the same way like a demon tried to understand her. Well, I shouldn't really say a demon tried to understand her. I should say a demon understood her, like understood what it was like to raise a human as if she was his own daughter. But anyway, continuing on, Gilda goes on to say, wait, it could be that Norman is just waiting for us to bring them back and then he'll kill them. Not really the case. Norman is one step ahead of you guys, so you have to be one step ahead of him as well. Like how you're all one step ahead of Mom, and now you have to be one step ahead of Norman in this case. But before Don goes on to say, but for the moment, it's safe, and it still leaves us room to make negotiations. It won't be the most ruthless of measures now. And Don's like happy that they can finally search for Musica and Sonju without any worries, but Hayashi has a little bit of more of a thought in her, and we don't actually know what she's actually thinking, but she's more like, before we cut away to see Hayate with Jim going. With Jin going, I see. So no tracks today either. And Hayate agrees, and he before Jin's like, we'll find them. Got it. We'll kill the killer's blood as soon as we find them, just like the boss ordered. As we see an army of like Adam-like clones with Jin and Hattori walking up to them, and that's where the chapter ends. So, whoa, that was a lot to pack into that chapter. So, like I said, this is probably one of the best chapters of the series, easily in my top 5 chapters at this point. Just because we've got so much complexity of the world and how the characters function, and how, again, there's no good or bad, and it's and how Emma's theory of humans and demons actually living together can actually come true, and it can actually be a possibility. But this is actually gonna open up a whole new can of worms here, and I feel like Don and Gilda have to be one step ahead of Norman if they actually want to be him, if they actually want to get Songju and Musica out of the situation alive at this point. And again, going back to, if you've ever been an old school watcher of my reviews of The Promised Neverland when I was doing them back in Worcester before I moved back to Manchester, before I got all those copyright strikes and I had to stop using panels and I had to just actually talk about while I was looking at the screen, you would know that Sid had a theory of like Norman being the bad guy. And this pretty much actually establishes that, yeah, Norman is essentially a villain at this point. Norman is a villain at this point. He's going against what Emma wants. He's got his own agendas, and he's like just thinking out for himself. I mean, he has noble intentions as a villain, but he's still a villain because he took away a father just because they were different and they were the enemy. Like, they took away a father from their child, and it's like, how different is he from the demons that have done that to that have done that to him and his siblings? So again, Norman is a straight up villain at this point. I don't see him I just see him as a straight up villain. Like I feel like he is going to be the final villain of the series. Like, one of the final villains that Emma will have to overcome. But at this point, it's like, I just see him as a straight up villain. Maybe you guys will see it differently. That's something I would like to say. Like, what do you think? What do you think of Norman's stance on this? Do you see him as a villain or an anti-hero, or somebody who's just so caught up in his own agendas that he can't see what he's causing is wrong? That's something I would like to leave you guys on. But anyway, I've got to get to work now, so I'll get this. Going now. What did you guys think of this chapter? Let me know. Like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. And this will be Lashalug signing off. Later, guys.